want to switch gears and talk about another good mid-aughts team that you played on with another member of that team. Let's get him in here. Steve Finley, baby. Steve, you there?
I'm here.
Can we see you?
I don't know. My camera's on.
We're having a slight technical issue.
You got to be like 7 years old, right, Steve?
Getting there. Hey, our golf club just started allowing people to drive carts again, but you have to be 55. And I just turned 55. So getting close to 70.
A lot of similarities with you two. I don't know if you guys even realize how similar you are in many respects. I mean, both lanky lefty outfielders with those sweet lefty swings, both two-time All-Stars, both Gold Glove winners. Steve's got a few more to his name. We'll give him credit there, but both have both World Series rings. By the way, Shawn, where's that 93 ring?
I don't wear it because I was just a September call-up, so it doesn't mean as much. But I have it in here somewhere.
Yeah. As long as you're not pawning it off. You're
not pawning it off yet. Maybe someday.
Yeah. Both of you guys started your careers in the AL, but moved to the NL for the bulk of it. Did you notice any appreciable difference between the leagues?
You know, I started in the AL, so you didn't know any difference until I got to the National League, and I thought it was so great to have the pitchers being able to hit. And the games were much faster. If you didn't start, you had a lot of chance to get in the games. And then in 2005, after the 2004 team, when I was with the Dodgers, I went back to the American League, and it was like watching paint dry. The games were so long. It was just a total different vibe. And when you're first in the league, you don't think about anything. You just enjoy your fact that you're playing in the big leagues. But National League, I think, has it way heads and tails over the American League.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up more of an American League fan. So when I went to the AL East, it was it was just ridiculous with the Yankees, and the Red Sox were bombers. The Orioles were stacked. We had a good lineup, so there was a lot of offense. And then coming over to the Dodgers, it was a much faster game.
You had that shoulder surgery. Was it 2003?
2003. Yep.
Did that surgery also contribute to maybe your shortened career?
No, I mean, it definitely, I think, it kind of changed my approach. When I was hurt, I just wasn't able to get the leverage that I had before, and hit as many of the home runs and kind of go for the home runs. So the latter part of my career, I sort of, just kind of spread out my stance a little bit, shortened things up, and just focused on hitting line drives to left center field. And so the power numbers dropped a little bit, but I was like, I want to try to be able to contribute and stay in the lineup. And the pain went away after year and a half after the surgery, but it I never quite got back to the mechanics and to the approach that I had before the surgery.
Did you like playing first base?
It was scary at first. I actually loved it. But what happened was the Dodgers said, hey, Jim Tracy said, hey, we might want to play at first this year going to spring training. And I said, well, as long as they're going to try to trade for somebody. I said, well, if you get a good bat in the lineup, I'd love to make the move. But if we don't get anybody by, a couple weeks in, I want to move back to right field to prepare. So sure enough, we hadn't gotten anybody. And then the last day of spring training, we're playing against the Angels in Anaheim Stadium for the Freeway Series. And opening day is the next day or the day after. And they call me in and say, hey, we just got Milton Bradley, and we want to move you. And so at that point, I was like, geez, I'm not really ready. And it's a big move. What are the options? And well, if you don't do it, then Dave Roberts has to sit on the bench, and Milton will play center, you'll play right. Otherwise, we could play both of them, have a little more speed in the lineup. So I made the move, and I'd say every day, the first few weeks at like 6:30 before 7 o'clock game, my palms would get sweaty and I would get all stressed out because I didn't know where to go. And I felt like, it kind of puts you in the other side of your brain. You feel very analytical. And when you go up there to hit, you want to be in much more of a flow and be kind of on the right side of your brain, more creative and just see it and hit it. But it was a tough transition. But once I got past that, I actually loved it more. And I felt like I was better at first.
In 2006, whenever I was with San Francisco, I was looking for ways to get in the lineup because I'd hurt my shoulder the year before and started taking ground balls at first base. And there was just one game where they said, hey, if this really becomes a blowout, I'm going to put you in at first. I started getting sweaty palms as well. So there's so much more that goes on over there at first base than you realize. And I felt like I had maybe bitten off more than I could chew by even volunteering for it.
Listen, there is so much skill and agility and grace needed around that base. Did you have anybody helping you out making the transition? Was Steve Garvey on hand?
Mark Sweeney. Who else? I can't remember who else was our first baseman then. It was kind of a free-for-all over there, which made me think, hey, I may be able to get some at-bats over there.
For me, I had Glenn Hoffman, the third base coach. He was a great infielder, shortstop, but he was really good, helped me a lot. And then Robin Ventura. And so Robin, he would work with me early on and batting practice, especially the first month or so, and make sure I knew what I was doing. But for me, it was actually pretty easy once I got past just the newness of it, because we had Beltre at third, Cesar Torres at short, and Alex Cora at second. And those guys were, I think we had the least amount of errors ever in the Dodger infield. And it was because those guys, Alex Cora would just take everything. He's like, don't worry, I got everything in the hole. So it makes it a lot easier when you got guys throwing straight balls at you and they're not throwing sinkers and cutters and bouncing a lot of balls.
I believe it.
For me, the biggest thing I noticed is the ball got there really fast off the bat.
It definitely.
I like the outfield much better.
I will say one time I played a few games with the Mets at first, and the hardest ball to catch for me was Jose Reyes, because he had such backspin on it. I remember I actually clanked a ball. He threw it, and I thought it was going to bounce, and it stayed about 6 inches off the ground, and it just hit off the heel of my glove because he had so much backspin. He was just electric as a player, and that was a little embarrassing, but what are you going to do?
Isolate Night with Scott Rogowski, live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern.